good morning to you, Rick.
Good morning.
404 years of Macbeth, 20-year anniversary of The Simpsons. Two different worlds couldn't be further apart. How did you mesh these together?
I had a little too much time on my hands.
I thought you might.
I was playing Murder Number 2 in a production of Macbeth in 1994, and I just crashed these two things for a cast party joke, and that joke has come a long way now. It's been seen by 500,000 people in 150 cities over 14 years. So I don't know, I tend to think it's one dysfunctional family does another dysfunctional family, and it makes perfect sense in my head.
Well, it does really, when you put it like that. What kind of things do you do? Do you do the three witches, and who are they?
Yes, the witches are Captain McAllister, Molly Bartender, and Principal Skinner. And not they come in as the weird sisters at one point, and the other characters are sort of some of the bigger Simpsons characters.
Barney, I play McDuff.
Krusty the Clown, I play the drunken porter.
I like the Troy McClure. I play the Dana Bros. You might remember me from other Simpsons do Shakespeare classics, such as Othello and Hamlet.
Hello, I'm Mr. Bones. I play the Duncan.
In Ned Flanders, I play Banquo, and so on and so on. And murderers, Otto, Apu, and Great Pine.
Have you had any great Shakespearean academics come to the show?
As a matter of fact, I have, Layla. Yes, I've been at Shakespeare conferences, and they love the show because they can see that there's brilliance in The Simpsons, and they're both satirical. They both, make fun of the particular societies, one 400 years ago, and they're both pop culture in a way. Even though Shakespeare is no longer pop culture, people back then understood him as pop culture. That was what people would watch on TV, so to speak.
So would you describe it as a tragedy or a comedy?
It's definitely comedy. I go through Macbeth, but very much brutally edited. It's very visual. It looks and feels like a strange Macbeth production, but it also feels like a Simpsons Halloween episode. And it's very, very funny. And I never go 3 or 4 seconds without, being goofy and silly, because that's what The Simpsons do. It's just non-stop references to this and that.
What about the creators of The Simpsons? Have they seen the show?
Yes, Matt Groening loves the show, and he's been very instrumental in allowing me to continue to do the show, which is great, because, I'm sure other people at Fox probably wishes this kind of thing would go away, and any other copyright issue would go away. But, he's been great, and they've been extremely generous. They know it brings them a lot of publicity. I think they also know it's good for high schools, and, teachers love this show. And if your kids hate Shakespeare, this is the show for them.
We've been talking about movie musicals this morning. Is there any music in MacHomer? And if so, can you give us a little
Yes. The Simpsons break into song at the end, and when the author's dead and you feel you've been gypped, you can always bribe the performer to modify the script. Anyway, he goes on to sing this whole thing, tragedy, which is about how you can't end a show. You can't do a tragedy. You've got to end with, music. Yeah. I heard you talking about musicals before. I mean, Grease. Come on, Grease.
Yeah, Grease is pretty good, but it's no 7 rights for 7 rights.
There's a Grease
reference. Music.
There are tons of musical references in there. There's a Les Mis reference, a Phantom of the Opera reference, and I end with Bohemian Rhapsody performed by 25 of the most annoying voices in the music industry. That's my own particular brand of wanting to be a rock star and very silly, gratuitous encore.
Does Marge have a problem with getting blood off her hands?
Oh, Spot! What I say?
Yes, Marge wears the pants in that family. She also goes completely nuts. And so this is a great play if you're a Marge fan.
Why do you think it works so well?
I think The Simpsons are so brilliant. They're actually, as opposed to, say, Family Guy, which is also very funny, and South Park, these are characters you actually care about because they have there's a certain nobility to them. They all want to do well, except they're all pathetic and stuck in that city. So they're very tragic. And you throw them into Macbeth, and people actually, it's not just a party joke, people actually follow the story because they endow these characters with so much of their own, personal, emotional connections.
Now, you're touring Sydney, Brisbane, Wollongong and Bathurst, January, February, and MacHomer.com, that's the website on the screen where people can find you. Have you been to Australia before? Or enjoying your stay?
I love it here. I was in Sydney last year doing a very different show. I was doing a 9-hour play as part of the Sydney Festival. So from that Robert Lepage, avant-garde theatre piece to MacHomer, it's the sublime to the ridiculous.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Rick.
Thank you.
Thanks,
for
Rick.
coming in.
Good luck with it. Now, for the last couple of months,